You too, man. What it do? It's your boy DNA Drain for sure. We back with another reaction. No sound effects today. Feel me? Feel me? Anyway, 10 scariest players in the NFL history. Let's do it, man. Of course, look who we got first.
Kickoff to delivering career-ending hits, a special group of players have kept opponents up at night with their terrorizing behavior. These are the 10 scariest players in NFL history.
Oh, there he is.
No other player had a more iconic way of instilling fear in the eyes of his opponents than Ray Lewis. And he did it before the game even started. His pregame entrance was a declaration of war.
Yes, sir. Ball to ball. Woo.
From a guy who said that every time he stepped on the field, he was Maximus from
he looked
as Lewis would
that
emerge
bitch big
from a
as hell.
smoky tunnel with fire blazing all around him before partaking in something that looked like a scene from his favorite movie. Opposing teams
Yo, he'll hit the fuck out you.
We unleash hell today. When that whistle blow, we unleash hell.
Because they knew what was coming. 60 minutes of bone-crushing hits from number 52. Sports Science said the only reason he didn't break his opponent's bones on every hit is because the shoulder pads absorbed 50% of the force. It was so powerful that he didn't even have to be locked in on a player to lay them out.
Come on, man.
Vision with him for many years, former Bengals wide receiver Chad Ochocinco decided that he finally had enough of Lewis's reign.
Oh, shoot, dude.
Lewis had his eyes on the ball. Ochocinco tried to get payback for countless
not today, Chad.
with a blindside shot on the linebacker. Yet, despite paying no attention to Ochocinco, Lewis leveled him to the ground like it was nothing and left the wideout gasping for air.
When Rudy's coming, I tried to blindside Ray. He ran me over.
Consider it a lesson to never test one of the most vicious to ever do it.
Hell no, don't do that.
Through me, and unfortunately, the concussion set in. I tried to pretend like nothing happened.
Along with making every hit count, it wasn't just quality over quantity for Lewis.
Damn, but
he is still the NFL's all-time leader in career solo and combined tackles.
Yes, sir. Look at that.
And 2050.
Bro, it's like trying to get away from a bear. Two of them.
His war mentality is definitely something that the terrorizing Jack Tatum could relate
Jack
to.
Tatum? I don't know this. I don't know who that is. It's before my time.
Tatum developed a reputation for being absolutely ruthless with his hits, and sometimes even crossing the line. Because of this, he became known as the Assassin, and for good reason.
Fiercest hitter at safety ever. And Jack
Look at Shannon.
Aforementioned by me. Fiercest hitter in the game.
Assassin.
Yep, the assassin.
What kind of snacks y'all got today, man? I got this.
Preseason game on an incomplete pass over the middle, he paralyzed Patriots wide receiver Darryl Stingley from the chest down. Not only were people furious that Tatum paralyzed another player, they couldn't believe it happened during a meaningless preseason game. To make matters worse, Tatum never apologized for the hit.
I'd just like to, wish Darryl, a full and speedy recovery and send him my best wishes.
And even went as far as saying this: I understand why Darryl is considered the victim, but I'll never understand why some people look at me as the villain. While this response may come as a bit of a shock,
you wanted to play, gonna get your hit.
Shed some light on his approach to the game. My idea of a good hit is when the victim wakes up on the sideline, train whistles blowing in his head. I like to believe that my best hits border on felonious assault. Despite public blowback, Tatum refused to change his hard-hitting ways. A year after it, he was face-to-face with one of the game's most powerful running backs in Earl Campbell.
Oh, hell, that big dude.
Even though Campbell managed to stumble into the end zone, the collision left a lasting impact. The lick I took from Jack Tatum, that's the only time I ever felt somebody hit me, Campbell said. A shock went down to the heels of my feet, and it burned. When I was standing on my head in my end zone, nobody knew this, but I was thinking, something's wrong. A year later, one of Campbell's doctors watched the collision and believed it caused him spinal problems that after his career was over. Tatum's hits will live forever in infamy, but they're still not the most famous hits in NFL history. That distinction belongs to arguably the greatest defensive player ever, Lawrence Taylor. With the football world tuned into a 1985 Monday Night Football game between the Giants and Redskins, Taylor, on a single play, changed forever. As Washington ran a flea flicker, Taylor saw right through the trickery and pounced on QB Joe Theismann like a jungle cat. Taylor and a handful
that was a nice picture. I ain't gonna lie. That was a clean picture right there.
Like a jungle cat. Taylor and a handful of players immediately signaled to the sideline for help, as Theismann was in excruciating pain and unable to get up. Having broken both bones in his lower leg, Theismann never played another snap. Because of that play, and Taylor's overall dominance at the position, teams at all level began placing on emphasis on the left tackle position to protect the quarterback's blind side. Although the play ultimately defined his career, Taylor's accolades should be just as memorable. As the iconic John Madden, he changed the way defense is played, the way pass rushing is played, the way linebackers play, and the way offenses block linebackers. As a 10-time Pro Bowler, Taylor became just the second defender to win the league's MVP award. He was also named Defensive Player of the Year 3 times. Legendary coach Bill Belichick served as Taylor's defensive coordinator with the Giants and said, "What makes LT so great, what makes him so aggressive, is his total disregard for his body." Belichick even went as far as to declare
that's a
him
big
the
dude,
best
man.
defensive player he's ever coached by a good margin. And while Taylor had no intentions of ending Theismann's career,
There
the same
he
cannot be
is.
said for when Hall of Fame linebacker Dick Butkus was out there. According to fellow Hall of Famer
Come on, man. Y'all fooled me, man. I wasn't looking for them.
He was a well-conditioned animal, and every time he hit you, he tried to put you in the cemetery.
I was looking for 88. 88. That's who I was looking for, boy.
Butkus's unique warm-up routine.
Y'all know. If you know, you know. Where Dez, man.
Things to make me mad.
I know Dez used to do something. I know, man. What?
I'd find something to get mad about. It always worked for me. But opposing players were definitely never laughing at Butkus, because in reality, they were deathly afraid of him.
Told me he was going to kick Murphy. You know what? I never played against him a rookie year.
As former Packers running back MacArthur Lane once put it, if I had a choice, I'd sooner go one-on-one with a grizzly bear than with Butkus.
What?
I prayed that I could get up every time Butkus hit me. In addition to laying the boom on guys like Lane, Butkus led one of the NFL's all-time greatest defenses and tackles for 8 straight seasons.
Damn.
Jack Lambert was another
Jack,
linebacker in charge of one of the league's most terrorizing defenses ever, serving as the
Look
face
crazy.
of the steel curtain. And it was an unforgettable face, to say the least. Missing his 4 upper front teeth, Lambert's toothless snarl was the perfect representation of his playing style. Before becoming a legend, John Elway in his first career game had to go up against Lambert's Steelers. It was a moment that Elway would never forget, and one he couldn't wait to end. He had no teeth,
this
and he was
shit.
slobbering all over himself, Elway said. I'm thinking, you can have your money back. Just
He was ready to play then.
I can't tell you how
That boy
badly
ready.
I
He's a
wanted out of
football
it.
player then.
Dracula in cleats, Lambert's motto was, "We're the
Yo.
Pittsburgh Steelers. We're supposed to be the intimidators."
Yeah.
He did everything he could to live up to them, even if it meant almost getting thrown out of the Super Bowl. In Super Bowl 10, Cowboys safety Cliff Harris taunted Steelers kicker Roy Gerella by patting him on the head following a missed field goal. Lambert responded immediately by
Slammed his ass.
After the game, he explained the move by saying, "When I see injustice, I try to do something about it." Lambert never shied away from confrontation and always had his teammates back. His bold attitude and fearless play inspired teammates and propelled them to 4 Super Bowl victories in just 6 seasons. And with just as cool a nickname as Dracula in cleats, Dick Night Train
Who the
Lane
fuck
was never
is
supposed to
Dick?
make this list, let alone play in the NFL.
Did the fuck
Lane
out of him.
played just 1 season of
Yeah, he look like he'll
college
run my
football
ass over. I ain't
before
fucking with
serving in
him.
the U.S. Army for 4 years. After being discharged from the Army, he happened to pass by the Los Angeles Rams office on his bus ride to work. Despite a total lack of experience playing the sport at a high level, Lane decided to stop in and asked to
Shit
try out
easy.
as a receiver.
It was
The
that
team
easy?
Was so blown away by his raw athleticism that they gave him a spot. Lane eventually switched to defensive back, and the Rams quickly fell in love with his ferocious playing style. It didn't take long for the
look at
rest of the
these
league to
old
become familiar
games,
with it, as
man.
The NFL had to create rules against Lane's brutal tackling style. He became known for wrapping players around the neck or grabbing their face mask and slinging them to the ground. People started calling the move the Night Train necktie. In 1961, he tackled John Arnett by the face mask while he was running at full speed and left him lying motionless on the field. The next year, the NFL made a rule prohibiting grabbing the face mask to make a tackle. They later banned a tackle around the head and neck, or what was called a clothesline.
But if you gotta tackle him, you gotta tackle, bro. You gotta make that tackle, bro. If your team really losing, that's the only way to tackle. I'm doing it. Get the flag, man.
Dealing with ends who are trying to catch passes, and if I hit them in the legs, they may fall forward for a first down. There's nothing I hate worse than a first down. In addition to wreaking havoc with his tackling style,
yeah,
was
take him back.
Also a menace as a ball hawk. To this day, he still holds the NFL record for most interceptions in a season with 14.
Damn.
Somehow doing so in only 12 games. But Lane isn't the only player on this list who also finds himself all
who
over
next?
the NFL
Me?
record book. And while most people associate scary football players with defenders, this guy actually played on the other side of the ball.
Who the
Throughout
fuck?
his career, Jim Brown made sure
Jim
the
Brown.
opposing team always saw him in the warm-ups. He said,
This is before my
"Knowing that
time,
they've
y'all.
been
Y'all got
told all
relax. Don't
about
get on me.
me,
You don't
and
know
how
Jim
they
Brown.
have to
No,
watch out
I
for me and how they have a
2000 here.
plan to stop
Okay.
me and gang tackle me, I challenged them by saying, "This is the guy, man. Take a look. Here
Yo
he
look
is,
crazy,
right
yeah.
now, 232 pounds, 6'2".
Damn.
40, and I got attitude. The attitude is, you're gonna hit me, and I'm gonna hit you." What could be mistaken for an arrogant mindset by Brown was a well-earned, confident swagger. He knew that he was nearly impossible to bring down.
Oh
as
my-
He led the league in rushing in 8 out of his 9 seasons. Unfortunately for Brown's opponents, this unbelievable feat wasn't
Yeah,
just the
bro,
result
get
of
off
him
him.
just outrunning them. Saying that he viewed football as the closest civilized thing to war, Brown would
Sometimes-
often bulldoze his opponents. His famous line was, "Make sure when anyone tackles you, he remembers how much it hurts." And his
Bro, sometimes I be wondering, like, yo, you see how he just described everybody in their own kind of way in this video. He make, yo, ain't nothing wrong with it, but sometimes I hate when the internet makes it seem like everybody was that, like everybody was him, like everybody was the best. Like, you done said so much phenomenal shit about these players. Who's the best? I want to know. I mean, the top 10 scariest, but who's the number 1? Where's number 5? Top 5, top 1, top 3? I need to see it. You feel me?
As Brown set the all-time record for most career rushing yards with 12,312, yards per carry with 5.2, and rushing touchdowns with 106. It's
Damn.
been more than 50 years since he retired, and his record of
Woo.
career rushing yards
It's been more than
per
50.
game still stands.
He was out there on that.
104.3. Not only has it stood the test of time, but no other player has even cracked the 100 yards per game mark since. And while Brown was always a superstar on the gridiron, James Harrison's journey to making this list is a
James
true
Harrison?
underdog story.
Oh, yeah, you look crazy.
Undersized at only 6 feet tall, Harrison was released 3 different times as a rookie. But instead of
What the-
giving up on his dream, he used those setbacks as inspiration.
Yo,
and
it really
fueled
hurt
to become
something.
one of the strongest and most durable players the game has ever seen. It also led Harrison to never taking his
What?
foot off the gas. on the field.
My objective when tackling someone was to put them out of that game. I didn't want to injure them, but I wanted them to hurt.
Even if he was
Bro,
going
what-
up against
ain't that
a
the
close
point?
friend.
Put him out the
In
game.
same 2010 game against the Browns, Harrison knocked out 2 different Cleveland wide receivers,
Oh,
Josh
shit.
Cribbs and Mohamed Massaquoi.
Oh,
Describing his
Massaquoi.
approach, Harrison explained,
Yeah,
"I
you a
tried
big
to hurt
motherfucker.
people. I never tried to injure anyone. I tried to hurt people. I wanted them not to be able to finish the game. When I hit my homeboy Josh Cribbs, I felt like when I hit him, that hurt. I want to be able to say, I got you." Then, while talking years later about the hit on Massaquoi, he said, "I hit Massaquoi with about 50%, bro. Dead serious. I just wanted him to let go of the ball. If I would have known then what I found out after, I'd have gave him everything I had. If I'd known they was going to fine me $75,000 for that, I would have laid into him. He might not have gotten off that field." As Harrison got older, neither his viciousness nor his
Romo, go down.
otherworldly strength.
Flacco, go
faded.
down.
While most defenders don't play past 39, he was still lighting up opposing wide receivers and going viral for his workout videos. A workout video from 2017 showed him doing 675-pound hip thrusts,
Damn.
hang cleans, and reverse lunges at 315, 405-pound decline presses, 225-pound overhead triceps extensions,
Yo.
and 1,800-pound sled pushes.
Man, hell
Another
no.
player who used superhuman strength to become a total nightmare for opposing teams was Reggie White.
Reggie
Or
White?
Eagles wide receiver Mike Quick put it, he could take a 320-pound man and just toss him. Like it
What
was
the
nothing.
fuck?
The funniest thing is to see a 320-pound man
320?
being tossed, and I've never seen anything like that. And not only did White have this freakish
We at
strength,
50%
he
right
had
now,
speed
man.
and athleticism that allowed him to play defensive end while moving like a linebacker. Herm Edwards, who played with White on the Eagles,
Herm.
said, "I'd never seen anyone that big and that
Bro
strong.
said 320.
He
Ain't no
moved fast.
fucking
He was
way.
So explosive. He drove blockers back like they were on roller skates. This extremely rare combination of speed and strength made him essentially
Man,
unblockable,
speed and
as he
strength is
retired
gold.
as the league's
I'm
all-time
telling
sack
you,
leader with
if you fast
190.
and strong, you
According
got
to
it.
former Eagles linebacker Gary Cobb, he never saw the kind of fear in the eyes of a lineman the way they used to be afraid of blocking Reggie. And similar to White, the final player on this list also relied on a unique combo of speed and strength. But standing at
Who?
5'11" and
Who
weighing
that?
244 pounds, Earl Campbell should have been
Earl?
able to do what he did. Being that thick and
God
condensed, it was
damn!
no
This
surprise that
nigga-
he could and would often run defenders over, punishing them with his aggressive
Yo,
play.
you-
But
you
the
shouldn't-
crazy thing about him was that he was just as fast as
They
he
should
was
only-
strong. People his size aren't
God
supposed to
damn.
have 4.6 40-yard dash times. Campbell ran angry out there.
Yo.
With his massive 36-inch thighs, he never went
What
down
the
without a
fuck?
fight. The team's equipment manager joked that they made 4 sizes of thigh pads: small, medium, large, and Earl Campbell.
Yo!
It shows just how powerful Campbell was and a play from when he was only a rookie. He
Bro,
met
that
Rams
motherfucker-
All-Pro linebacker Isaiah Robertson
Isaiah.
in the hole with a head-on collision that left the defender flat on his back. Campbell then
Fuck.
shredded another tackler who held on for dear life and was left with nothing but a piece of his jersey as Campbell kept charging forward. He was a human wrecking ball.
Yeah, man.
Just demolishing opposing defenders. Legendary Steelers linebacker Joe Green
Joe.
says that Campbell could inflict
Oh.
more damage than any other running back he's ever faced.
Yo.
Cowboys safety Cliff Harris agreed.
Cliff
saying,
Harris.
When you finished a game against Earl, you had to sit in a tub with Epsom salts. And despite constantly using his body to deliver beatings to opposing players,
Yo,
Campbell,
get off
throughout
him.
his career only missed 6 games due to an injury. A testament to his next level toughness.
Woo, boy. I fuck with that. I fuck with that. Make sure y'all go and like, comment, subscribe, ring that bell, man. Drop some links, y'all, for videos y'all want me to react to. You hear me?